right, so here we have two different kinds of fish. That's kind of cool that they're standing right next, or they're swimming right next to each other. Let's get the grass out of the way. Take a look, right there. So on the right, or the bottom, you've got a fish called a lizard fish. They're called lizard fish because their head is shaped just like a lizard. Now this other one, and the lizard fish is a predator. It's camouflaged on the top, you see that? And it looks just like the sand. And then it waits for a fish to come by and then it grabs them. Now the other fish there is a cousin of the seahorse. You see it's called a pipefish. And it looks like a blade of grass, which is pretty cool. Very, very cool. And it has a very small mouth. Its mouth is like a tube, like a straw, and it can only eat tiny, tiny little plankton, little tiny shrimps and crabs and other animals that float by. But their camouflage is they look just like, oh wow, Mr. Burt just brought in a really cool fish. Not even sure what it is. Oh, that I haven't seen in a long time. That, my friend, I believe is a toadfish. Normally you see this kind of fish right in the oyster bars. So, and we're gonna have to look this one up because it's got some modeling on it, different camouflage. Didn't it have legs on the bottom? Looked kind of like it had little legs on the bottom.
Long dorsal.
Yeah, long fin, pectoral fin. Yeah, look at that. That is a really neat fish. All right, so one of the fish that we caught is called a pinfish. And you know it's a pinfish because they're not real big and they have vertical stripes that go up and down. And that helps them camouflage in with the seagrasses. Now what they get their name from is if you look at the fin on the top of the fish, when he spreads it out, they have these needle-like pin spines in the top of them. So if you ever have to grab a pinfish, you never want to grab it from the top because it will stab you with those pins. So that's one of the most common fish that we get in our seagrass areas. Very well camouflaged. They're an important bait fish. People use them for bait, but they also feed a lot of other animals, everything from snook and redfish to dolphins and things like that. So that's a pretty neat fish. Now this is another long skinny fish, but instead of floating up and down, it's actually a horizontally skinny fish. This is called a needlefish. They get their name from their needle-sharp teeth, and they are predators. They eat smaller fish. They're very, very fast swimmers, very fast swimmers. All right, so the fish we caught the most of is this Atlantic silverside. They have a very prominent stripe, silver stripe down the side, and they are fish that swim in large schools. So that's another adaptation for staying away from predators is safety in numbers. So we caught, I don't know, 100 of them maybe. We only kept one or two to show you. So they eat very small plants, things that are floating around in the water. So very pretty fish.